Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. How to give a blissful Yoni massage, 15 steps and techniques. In a loving, passionate, dedicated Yoni massage, we are aiming to awaken, activate, and bring deep, life-changing pleasure to the vagina and a woman's overall sexual being. Over the decades of doing my work as a holistic sex and relationship coach, the thing I hear over and over again from women is how numb their vaginas are. One of the biggest tools I recommend for de-numbing and re-pleasuring the vagina is the jade Yoni egg. By building strength, sentience, and articulation in the vagina, increasing circulation and oxygen flow, all things flow better, from lubrication to hormone transport to orgasms. The other practice I wholeheartedly and whole vaginally recommend is Yoni massage. With focused, loving attention, we can transform a numb vagina into a multi-orgasmic and highly aroused and ejaculating one. For some women, the baseline in their vaginas isn't even numbness, it's pain. In the All-Star interview later in this episode, Tanya shares how she initially had pain in her vagina, and through Yoni massage, that gave way to numbness, and then that eventually transformed into pleasure. It was a process. And these stages are common: pain, numbness, pleasure, and then finally, vaginal orgasms. The benefits of Yoni massage are many. Increasing sensation in the vagina, moving from pain or numbness into full-bodied pleasure. Rivers of lubrication, stimulating blood and oxygen flow generates much easier and profuse lubrication. Liberates the issues in your tissues, as Wim Hof refers to them. Our genitals store all kinds of unresolved sexual traumas, experiences, beliefs, and loving Yoni massage releases and helps us to alchemize them. Exposure. Opening up like that gets her used to being vulnerable for sustained periods of time. Builds intimacy and trust with you and her own body. Trains her to receive pleasure and abundance. Years of being with partners who rush to the finish line will turn women into people pleasers, where they don't really have the expectation of even being able to experience a lot of pleasure in sex. And they might feel awkward with men who take their time to honor and bring them into ecstasy. This helps her get used to it. Foreplay warms her up to deeper levels of pleasure. Vaginal reconnaissance. This helps you and her get to know her vagina. Increase libido. With the numb vagina, who wants to have sex? With an activated and blissed out vagina, she will be tackling you on the regular. And vaginal orgasms. Most women have no idea that they can have these kinds of orgasms. Once the vagina wakes up, these become daily food and medicine. Yoni massage integrates the yoni and its energy into the full being of the woman. So many women are cut off and dissociated from their genitals that they often literally get their sexual organs removed and cut out of them. Yoni massage brings everything back together, especially and if women have had surgeries that remove reproductive organs, all of those energies get reintegrated into her being. And you lead with the yoni. As a woman becomes more connected to her vagina, she taps into a deeper level of intuition and feminine power. This becomes her compass in life, attracting more and more pleasure. Even though a woman may orgasm through yoni massage, it isn't the main goal. If you remove the expectation of orgasm, both of you can relax to focus on the healing, opening, and surrendering that is at the heart of yoni massage, with your deepest intention to restore the power, sensation, and pleasure to her yoni. If she orgasms, great. If not, just know that you are laying the foundation to have the deeper, life-changing vaginal orgasms, and without this work, she isn't likely to get there. Here are 15 steps and blissful techniques for a healing and life-changing yoni massage. Yoni massage oil. For the most glidey and sensual massage oil, I recommend our Yoni Ambrosia oil, which you can find in the Anami Alchemia online shop. This oil is full of nourishing and aphrodisiac yoni herbs and aromatherapy. It smells so good, people wear it as perfume. Foreplay. Take your time building her up, stimulating her other erogenous zones before you even touch her pussy. Massage her breasts, thighs, buttocks, inner thighs, warming her up so that she's hungry for you. Alternate with light, loving touch and more confident, firm strokes. Dance around and seduce it. Gradually make your way in closer, dancing in and out, hovering over her. Spend lots of time on her inner thighs, driving her wild with anticipation. Brush and tease. Play with light brushes of the front, back, and side of your hand, delicately sweeping across the vulva. Inhale her. Come in close and take in all of her scent. The more relaxed she is, the stronger her pheromone output will be, which will bring out more of your primal masculine. Love her outer labia. The labia are often very overlooked in a woman's anatomy. Spend time stroking them and taking them into your fingers, gently rubbing them. You'll make yourself oh so memorable, as most women are rarely touched here and it feels divine. Euphoria clitoria. Brush up and down the vulva and zigzag with the side of your hand back and forth across. Graze her clitoris and then stroke up and down her inner labia. Come back to grazing the clitoris in between brushing her inner and outer labia. The clitoris is the reflexology point for the pineal and pituitary glands, which initiate the production of a woman's pleasure hormones and neurotransmitters. Come back here every so often for a quick pleasure hit. Gentle entry. When you feel she's open and hungry for you, play with a delayed entry. Gently insert a finger and then remove it. Stroke her labia again and then play around the opening and delay some more. Waiting makes wanton. Dive in. Reconnaissance. Once you enter her, take your time to explore and look around with your hands. Imagine your fingertips emanating light and palpating her internal walls, encouraging her to open and surrender to you. Vertical strokes. Use vertical strokes and vary your movements, stroking, spiraling, twisting, and pressing. All angles. Aim to cover the entire surface area of her yoni with your fingertips. Throughout the massage, encourage her to express any emotions that come up. Many women cry or even laugh hysterically during yoni massage, as any pent-up, stored away feelings make their way to the surface to be let go. This is excellent and means you've done well. Let her know that you've got her, and this is the space for her to let it all go. Afterglow. After she comes out of it, hold her, stroke her face, tell her how much you adore her. Honor how vulnerable she's feeling and reinforce to her that you've got this and you've got her. Well fucked all-stars! Our all-stars, Tanya and Paul, describe their experiences with Yoni massage and what it's done for their relationship, and how each dissolving of a block or tension in the vagina had a corresponding release and uptick in their relationship. As above, so below. As in bed, so out of bed. As in the vagina, as in the other parts of your life. All right, welcome Tanya and Paul. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's dive into Yoni massage. I'd love to hear your experiences in receiving it and giving it. So why don't we start with you, Tanya? What was it like to have loving, focused, adoring attention slathered on your Yoni on a regular basis?
The first time I felt very vulnerable, but at the same time, I didn't realize how much I craved it. That closeness, that intimacy was, it was really special. And I was like, whoa, I think that turned me on more than anything, because, obviously I was very numb, especially at the start. So the touch wasn't the turn on, it was the fact that we were so intimate together that really turned me on. And then once we got into the massages more regularly, like Paul, I guess it was very up and down. There was a lot of numb bits. There were times where I didn't really feel much pleasure at all. And then, the more we continued, the more, Paul got comfortable, as did I, just relaxing. And, Paul was able to work out the tight areas. So literally, like, my vagina would feel tight and hard, and he would massage, and then it would soften. And then I could feel the pleasure come from that. So that was pretty incredible, just to see, in real life, like in real time, that, oh, this is actually working. So that was pretty cool. And I think basically, that's probably it. There's still quite a lot of work to do with the Yoni massage, I feel, but we're getting there.
Right. And so what have you noticed in the same way in terms of the effects of the Yoni massage in your whole being and out in the world at large?
I definitely feel more connected to myself and my feminine energy. I feel like because of, this whole work and the Yoni massage, that I feel, more vibrant, more like that simmer that you talk about. There's always that element of like simmer there and turn on. So that's really nice too. Definitely feel more confident and more connected to my intuition, I think. I think just connecting with that feminine source helps me to connect with my feminine energy and then my intuition. So overall, like, pretty huge things.
That's amazing. And then how about in terms of, you mentioned that when he would find a tight spot and work through it, you would feel the pleasure come back to life. And so over time of doing them, what was the shift? Like you mentioned, feeling numbness initially and then where would you say you are now?
Well, I even would feel pain, especially around the cervix. Mm-hmm. And now it's not so much painful, it's more kind of numb. So that's an upgrade for me, because before, I find that before the numbness, the pain would be there. So once I get through the pain, then the numbness, and then the pleasure will start. So yeah, I would say that that now probably maybe 50% or more is pleasure, and then towards the the cervix, like that half of the vagina, if you want to say that, it's more numb. But yeah, now we're able to kind of do doggy and it can feel pleasurable for me, whereas before it was pretty painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, because that's definitely part of the de-numbing, de-armoring, and places where people are tight, like any sore, tight muscle, right? If we get in there and work at it, we're releasing that tension and then opening it up to pleasure. So that's great. Paul, what was it like for you to be the giver?
Yeah, it was nice. I naturally, like to give. Again, connected us a bit closer and connected me more with Tanya's vagina, and to sort of feel around and navigate it a bit better, and kind of understand more the anatomy. So that was quite special. And then it was nice to be able to help her through dissolving these tense spots and opening her up and increasing feeling and then pleasure, healing her basically. So I love to be able to help Tanya out in that way. And in the sense of breaking up the tension and the sore spots, and just like if I find a tense spot, and it generally either has pain or it has no feeling. And I know from like giving like a shoulder massage or back massage that if you find a spot like that, you just stay with it, you keep kind of working on it until it eventually softens, dissolves. And it's the same thing in the yoni. And I would do that, and then the more I'd stay with it, the more it would start to gain some feeling, and then after a while, pleasure started coming along in those spots. So then I guess there's everything else that's attached to that, like on an emotional level, where again, that is healing some negative stored emotions that might be caught up there. I mean, I don't fully understand its greatest depth. We still have a long way to go, but I know that it is definitely helping to open us both up and to get rid of negative emotions, negative energy, and make way for bliss and pleasure.
Yeah. Did you have any big emotional releases during your time receiving yoni massage?
No, not really. I think there was one time that I did cry, but more just kind of felt numb, and sometimes I would have waves of sadness come through, but it wasn't very intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a lot of numbness still there to work through. I find that from my perspective, sometimes it can feel almost like the attention I'm giving her is not really doing much because she's feeling numb there. But I know that I just need to keep at it. But then, when she's feeling pleasure, that starts to turn me on as well. So I must say, like, I enjoyed a lot more in those moments. But I know that the more that we keep going with this, the more that will come to life. And we're
the only way out is through.
Pardon?
the only way out is through.
Yeah.
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 What would keep you motivated to keep going then is just thinking that at some point on the other side of this is going to be pleasure, and we just have to be patient through the numb or the less responsive moments.
Yeah. That is one thing. And then, the fact that it draws us closer together. Yeah, it's not just during the massages that it's more pleasurable, but that carries over obviously into sex. And it's beautiful to be both like so vulnerable, in these moments, and just be so open to each other and connected on a much deeper level than than usual. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits and reason to continue for us.
Tanya, anything else you would say about your experience receiving?
Well, you said before about what would make you want to keep going with it, and it's the fact for me like that you can see the progress, you can see that it works on so many different levels. Like Paul said about feeling closer together, and then also just the de-numbing and the getting rid of the pain, and making the vagina soft again and more pleasurable. Like you can see it. It's like you could measure its progress. It's pretty cool. So it's definitely worth doing and worth sticking to.
And what about you translating those shifts outside of the bedroom? What did you notice about yourself in the world with a softer yoni?
I guess like I was saying before, that I felt more connected to my intuition, more connected to my vagina, more connected to what I love, feeling more turned on, not just, to Paul, but also to myself, to the world. I feel more pleasure in life overall, happier, so many things.
All right. Anything else that you two would like to add on this topic of yoni massage?
Yeah, trust as well, is built through the process.
Right.
Through doing these massages.
How is the trust built?
Yeah, because of being so open and vulnerable, and then your partner is there for you and giving you this love and care, and it makes you, I guess, feel safe with them. So trust comes from that, basically.
That's a really good point. That was really helpful for us at the start when Paul, was sharing his hidden truths, and then it made me feel that I couldn't trust him. And then once I did feel comfortable and we were doing the massages and the things in the salon, I think that's what really helps speed things up. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because that could have gone for ages, me holding on to the past and feeling that resentment, instead, like it just shifted really quickly.
There was actually a point where after I shared certain truths that it was breaking point, and it could have gone either way, and I actually assumed that it was over, basically, and I started throwing in the towel almost, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give up, obviously. But I was sent to sleep in our daughter's bed for a few nights, and but then we were talking one night after that, and then Tanya just like, she couldn't understand why, but she just felt like really horny for me, and then we connected, we had some amazing sex, and that definitely brought us so much closer together. And in saying that as well, when we were going through this time of sharing all these truths and being so open and vulnerable, the sex was like amazing. Like, it was, levels high above what it was prior to that, without having put in any other kind of work. Yeah. Like, it was much longer lasting. It was so passionate, and feeling was amazing, and yeah, we were just so connected through it. So yeah.
Wonderful. The amazing aphrodisiac of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always feel like, even when the truth might be difficult to hear and someone's fucked up, I'd rather hear it and know it than be living in the web of lies that support it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be able to know what I'm dealing with, and I can deal with quite a bit, actually, rather than this space of secrecy and, oh no, what if I tell and they'll reject me? And it's just, there's no freedom there, really.
No. Yeah. I've definitely learned that. So
yeah. But it's a learning, right? Because I think the default mode in our culture is to lie, to white lie, hold back sins of omission, right? Like, that's the default. And so it's a whole other choice in our lifestyle, and especially in relationship, to instead bring everything to the table and to the bed,
Yeah.
And then for me to take 100% responsibility as well, like you talk about. So Paul was sharing a lot, and it could have been easy for me to just say, oh well, like everyone else, point the finger. And instead I was like, no, let me see where I was responsible, and I could see it, and so then we could resolve it.
So much faster that way. Hey, like, you can get through things so much faster if both people are looking at their parts rather than just one person. It's kind of like if the Yoni massage was only going one way, and there was never reciprocation. Like, that's the sort of an analogy of the idea of self-responsibility. It's definitely mutual.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, if it wasn't for your salon, actually, it was funny because we were in such a place where, and I'd been following your work for years, and we were waiting for coming together to start so we could take it. But we're at the point where I just didn't want to, have sex with Paul. And so I was thinking, what's the point of taking this salon? Like, if I don't even want to do that. But like, there was something inside me that, like, I trusted you, I trusted your work. And, Paul wanted to do the salon as well. So we did it, and it was really good because, there was no pressure to have sex. But, if you weren't in that position, which we weren't at the start, but then once we started to clear the glass, it started to just happen naturally. So, and then we had these, other tools like the massages and everything else that you teach in the salon to apply.
Yeah, excellent. And that's the way it goes. It'll arise organically once we clear that space.
Yeah, exactly. And I should also mention we got remarried as well, just in our lounge room, naked. With like with the contract that we did in the salon and our new thoughts towards our marriage and everything like that. And we kind of just did a little ceremony of our own, and just kind of wanted to start fresh.
Did your lingam and Yoni do their own ceremony as well?
Didn't think of that.
I promise to never fuck you for less than 45 minutes.
Love it.
I vow to always give you a vaginal orgasm or 2 orgasms. The ultimate genital marriage contract. I think it's actually, I think they ought to have a voice now that I say this out loud. I haven't thought of it before until this moment, but I'm thinking I'll amend that to the whole contract idea that it's a contract between genitals as well. It's like, what do they want? Guys? They're entities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Sadly, it tends to go the other way, doesn't it? Typically, where the genitals
where they're sidelined and ignored, and their voices are silenced. And now we're like, not they're part of this whole ceremony. There's 4 of us getting married today.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you guys sharing your experiences with us.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, and thanks so much for all your wisdom and work that you share with us and the world. So,
it's really important.
My pleasure. In my Coming Together salon, you'll receive even more in-depth guided instructions from me on how to perform a transcendent yoni massage on your woman. Plus, specific techniques to achieve the deeper vaginal orgasms, how to last longer in bed as a man so you can bring her there, tantric and Taoist sexual energy practices to turn sexual energy into creative and healing energy, and much, much more. The Coming Together 10-week online salon for couples is open now. You can find the registration link below. Come one, come all. And if you would like more bodacious tips for life, love, and radical sexual pleasure, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe and also leave a review. And send someone else the gift of a healthy libido and an off-the-charts love life by sharing this episode with them. We'll be back next week, and in the meantime, many happy orgasms.